what kept Dignitas in the game was their ability to always keep up in experience. That was incredibly important.
Sure.
But this was a game where Tricked arguably should have won, and then 2 scenarios in the late game turned it around where Dignitas showed up. And now, of course, if they can do that again, they have a very good chance. They are still the favorite for the series, but Tricked is looking strong today.
Tricked is looking strong today, and with that loss, I'm wondering if they're going to choose the battleground here. They've already done so in Game 1 and Game number 2. Obviously, first pick being a little bit more preferable here to Dignitas. So, Tricked, if you are going to a different battleground, what do you think you would want to pick up here to really try and shut down Dig?
Just go to your comfort zone. I think and that's the only thing that really matters to them. If they have, of course, on a certain map some strategy prepared, then that would always be something they can pull off. But nothing really stands out at this point where I would say, okay, this is the battleground where you have to play. You're playing against one of the best teams in Europe, so you know that they are familiar with all of the maps. It's very unlikely that you can hard counter them anywhere. So for Tricked, it's just all about play something you're comfortable with and just do your thing.
Play a battleground you can deliver on, and we'll figure out which battleground we're going to. Ooh, it looks like Tricked actually elects to take first pick here, and Dignitas will take the battleground. It's going to be Towers of Doom. We'll be heading there right away.
In Europe, it's one of the biggest thing to go for the choice of the first pick, so very rarely do we see the map choice. I think that's more common in North America. We have it by some of the teams more towards the bottom of the standings in Europe, that they occasionally say, hey, you can have the first pick. We have a strategy prepared for a specific map that you might not be able to counter, so we want that to be the next battleground. But most of the time, the first pick advantage is something I think that the losing team strives for.
And with this going to Towers of Doom, you got to think about some of the possibilities here. We've seen a lot of Abther on this battleground in particular, and not only Abther when it comes to Dignitas, but we've seen Abther and Zul'jin often here. In fact, the last few times that we've gone to Towers of Doom, either Abther or Zul'jin has been banned out to prevent that strategy from actually happening. So let's do it. Towers of Doom.
Abther is definitely a hero that has seen a huge rise. Double Arthurs is amazing. Having a double Greymane is fantastic. There's double Zeratul plays that we oftentimes see. So this is something that Towers of Doom has been known for in the recent past. And let's not forget that also the Vikings are seeing a bit more play here again in Europe. Vikings are a very interesting hero because from all the regions, Europe plays Vikings, I would say, the most. And even when Vikings fall off for a few weeks or a few months, they always make a comeback.
Yeah, they're also used as a surprise factor, too, when they're not in the meta. They just have so many great Viking players here in Europe that they can just be effective no matter where you throw them in. And speaking about that Abther, there he is. First pick on Towers of Doom for Tricked.
Tricked going into the Slugger. And when we come to the bans, the one thing that happened immediately is a ban on Arthurs. So Dignitas really looking at Tricked. They know how strong Alex is on the hero. Arthurs has always been a huge pain, even if you don't have a strong Arthurs player on the opponent's side. And they just say, hey, we don't want to risk this. Let's ban that guy out. It's a great meta ban. It's also a good counter ban, specifically against Alex. And from that point on, Arthur was still open, and Tricked reacts right away.
Now, to note, heroes that are left open, Gul'dan, you suddenly still have Falset available. You have the, I mentioned Gul'dan already, but you also have Greymane. All these heroes that are great for Dignitas in particular. Greymane would be the one they jump into, but we are going to move into Tyrael and Malfurion. So Dignitas getting Tyrael here for the late game powers that he brings to this battleground, also Sanctification, and then of course Malfurion.
That makes me suspicious.
Why?
Because that Tyrael is super early. He is strong. He is a strong hero, but he has fallen off a bit in the current meta. We still see him, but such an early Tyrael just reminds me over and over again how much Judgment we've seen lately. And we've even seen Judgment being used by Team Liquid the last time they played on this particular battleground.
Even in the cleanse, which is so surprising.
Exactly. So Tyrael this early is a bit suspicious. Yes, he's great with Sanctification. He's a fantastic second tank. He offers so much if you go into a dive comp. But such an early Tyrael says to me, either they are trying to dive with an Illidan, with maybe a Greymane, if they can get their hands on it, or they are thinking about a potential Judgment play to try and burst someone down early on. So this is where Tricked has to be careful. And they take the first step by locking down Greymane for themselves.
Very important. Getting that Greymane prevents Tyrael from having that synergy available for Dignitas. Also getting a Nubrak gives him one of the other great engaged tanks available in this battleground. And Nubrak is wonderful. Some say that at Variant it'll be a little bit better, and Variant to a degree, is probably better in the mid to late game, but a Nubrak gives you early game chances to get those engages. Varian, most of the time, doesn't really come online until level 10. Now, Dignitas will ban out Zeratul here on the right.
It's an interesting ban because that leans more towards them thinking about Sanctification instead of Judgment. I could have even seen them looking at a potential pickup on Zeratul, but they ban him out first. There's a lot of counterplay that Zeratul provides, a lot of isolation that he can provide, and I would assume that at this point Dignitas is more worried about Tricked using that Zeratul together with Abathur, and then later on in the game having maybe the double Zeratul plus a Greymane jumping into a backline. That can really be a big problem. So they played safe, and Tricked, they deny the second global to the opponent.
All right, we're going to see what Dignitas will start to pick up. Third and fourth pick should start to illustrate what exactly they want to go for. Do they want to do those dive comps? Do they want to get in the fights ASAP? Judgment, good against Abathur, as you were mentioning, just because you're able to get in the fights right away. And we're going to have a Jaina pickup. Interesting. Haven't seen Jaina, but Mane, he could pull off some silly Ring of Frost if he gets a chance.
Now, they could have tried and combo that with Zeratul. They had the opportunity to pick the two of them. That would lead for, and here, okay, there comes the Tracer. That already helps a bit. So Tracer, again, is a hero that Xaylia in particular loves to play. Oftentimes, Tracer is banned by opponents for that exact reason. They didn't want to play the Zeratul-Jaina combo, and they were probably a bit worried about Tracer and Jaina being susceptible to damage quite a lot if Zeratul can stick close, so they banned Zeratul out, again also because of the Abathur that we talked about, so it works for them. But they definitely had another chance here to go into more of a wombo combo focused composition, and they declined to do that. Now they have Jaina, they have Tracer. Question is, of course, what is the last pick? I could really see a Varian on the side of Tricked now. If Anubarak is not the only hero you want to go for, Varian counters out Tracer very nicely, is also a huge threat to Jaina. That might be a good pick for Tricked.
That's what I was thinking here too, especially with the W ability, you're protected from the Jaina damage, you don't get zoned out too heavily. The only thing I get fearful of is when you get to 16 and the Holy Ground comes in, Varian has a very good chance of being sectioned off and has no way for escape. He has to burn his Ws, and then Jaina Tracer can chase him down and burrow him. We'll see if that's a pickup, Varian and Uther. So right away, Esports answers back. We have lockdown now for Tracer, we can get Taunton, we have a new back for the counter engage on Jaina. I actually really like what Tricked Esport has as a roster.
Divine Storm is another big tool. And here come the Lost Vikings. As we said at the beginning of the draft, they are a reoccurring theme in Europe. They're very strong. They are played on Cursed Hollow. They are played to an extent on Sky, but also on Towers of Doom. So at this point, cool draft. I like it. It's going to be a good game.
Yes, it will be. So you're going to have Dignitas probably being a little bit on the aggressive side in the early stages, looking for pickoffs with that Tyrael, the Tracer moving in. If you ever get a root down, you can maybe burn a little bit on that Variant off. And just taking advantage of these Vikings. The early to the mid game is going to be such a fun transition. We've seen it multiple times. Abathur versus the Vikings. Who pulls out ahead in the early game? Typically, it's going to be the Vikings, but as you get to the mid to late game, the Abathur really comes online and starts to be a big nuisance.
Exactly, especially if you have the copy on Greymane. If you can use that in your fights, that's absolutely awesome. You can even make good arguments for a copy on Anubarak, since you have so many stuns in that situation, and you can dive with two of Anubaraks into the opponent's backline. That's absolutely awesome. So this is a very, very strong and interesting composition for both sides. You talked about it, the difference between the early game, where you don't have the extra hit point pool on the map, because Abathur doesn't have access to his level 10 ability yet, and the Vikings being able to allow 4-man pushes for your team. So this is a very cool dynamic in the early game, and that's what makes this game super cool.
I'll be looking to Dignitas to control the mercenary camps in the early stages too. With Jaina coming in with the Blizzard and the Cone of Cold, you're able to burn through those pretty quickly, and then you can go in for an evade, especially with Tyrael and being able to scout with that Aldruin or even a Moonfire. Let's go ahead and get ready for game number 3. We're all tied up here, but someone will take a lead after this game. Let's go ahead and move into it. Tricked Esports and Dignitas.
It is game number 3 in the best of 5 series, and to the left side, Tricked with Gnapper already in play on his support again, on Uther, Crosby on Greymane, Eternal on Varian. We see Alex the Pro G on Anubarak, and Remaballer is playing Abathur.
To the right side in the red, we'll have Bakery on Malfurion. We're going to have Tyrael played by JPL. Jaina will be played by Mane. We're going to have Tracer being played by Snitch. And the Vikings will be displayed here by Xaylia.
That is so cool to me that Xaylia is on the Vikings now. That's really fun. Because, yes, We have, of course, when we're talking about Tracer, Snitch also in a position where he is great on the hero. But normally when you think about Tracer for them, it's all about Zelia. He's the one, his eyes always start to glow when he finally can start playing Tracer again. And I can't wait to see what he can pull off on the Vikings here. To me, this is a really, really fun game for so many different reasons. Abathur versus the Vikings. Zelia not on his famous Tracer. And here comes that situation that we talked about a bit earlier with that heavy pressure play down to the bot lane. 4 against 3 on the lane because the Vikings make that happen.
This is where Snitch will have to be careful. Whenever those Abathur hats come in, Tracer can get poked out pretty quickly. Takes a couple Qs to the face and damage from her opponents. That's something Snitch needs to be tapped off by Bakery, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Now, Bakery did hit a really solid root there. Jaina, sadly not having Blizzard available, could have maybe gone in for some more damage, but she used it on the wave clear. Alex the Pro G gets picked off by the root. Once again, Bakery is just landing these roots. Yeah,
he definitely is, and he is enabling so many plays for his team. I also want to highlight something else in the meantime, though. We have currently the Vikings playing, especially in the mid lane, extremely passive. There's several ways how you can play with the Vikings, particularly in the early stage of the game. One of these situations is that you don't necessarily want to push out lanes early on. You're just trying to keep the experience soaked for your team. So what currently Zelia does with Olaf in the middle is he stays very far back, just in the XP range, so that he can't get picked off. He lets the opponent's wave push in, and then soaks the experience. Once that we have objectives on the map, he's going to be a little bit more aggressive on the lane, because he knows that in order for someone to kill him, they need to move away from the objective, giving his team a better opportunity to take the objective. So there's a very cool dynamic where you try to play safe, and then once that there's another focus point on the map, this is the opportunity you use to push the lanes out a little bit more and apply pressure.
Playing safe here. Zelia being annoying, trying to slow down the ultra in the top right, while Jaina and crew grab the mercenaries in the bottom, and it opened up an avenue for them to grab the altar. They get 4 points, shelled away on the Trick Esport. Trick Esport has yet to make a move for their altar yet, and JPL is seeing an opportunity to start to move forward.
That's a very late move, to be honest, and that could result in 3 altars taken by Dignitas, because now the Vikings have already soaked at the bot lane. We see still Snitch on the Tracer up here to the top. Interrupts are happening, and in the meantime, the Vikings are now starting to push the lanes, as expected.
Vikings pushing the middle. Tracer helping out too, while the Vikings are on the top. Now, overall, Dignitas realizes, okay, we've got all of our lanes pushed out. There's no point to really continue pushing this in here. Let's set up for a possible gank rotation on the bottom left while we take advantage of our waves pushing in. And they start to move in on the bottom. They are going for the bell tower.
Yes, they're going for the bell tower indeed, and this is a really cool game if you want to learn something for your own plays. Just watch the minimap constantly throughout this early game. Look where the Vikings are positioning, look what they're trying to do, how they soak the experience, when they move out, and also how the rest of Dignitas is playing this. They move as 4, they're not going onto the Viking lanes as long as they don't have to, and they're trying to use that to an advantage. Tricked is desperately trying to force fights for exactly that reason. They know that they're in a spot where they can force these battles, and they also have to make something happen so that Dignitas doesn't gain too much momentum for a snowball. But it's really a lot of pressure towards Tricked in these spots now.
That it is. And so far, we've actually had 3 Vikings controlling the middle and the bottom, or top lane, but now Dignitas will bring down Zelia to help out in these fights and help out with the clears, wanting to get those regen globes, and they will constantly keep an eye out for their mercs on the right side. They move in as the moment it spawns to make sure that they can keep pressure on that bottom lane. Constantly keeping pressure there, keeps Trick Esport in that area, which eventually allows Dignitas to really start to pull ahead there with those Vikings if the opportunity ever provides. The good news for Trick Esport is they have kept Eternal, the variant, constantly in a lane soaking as well, so they stayed even on experience.
Yeah, we also have Eric the Swift taken on 4, so very annoying here. Nice juke by Bakery.
Wow.
Really looking cool here. Making the opponent look a bit silly as they're diving in for a potential kill. JPL on the retreat now too, and it is Alex who falls. Great play here, very well done. Bakery juking them out and then able to heal his own teammates up, providing an opportunity for a kill. Dig is looking good here. They have taken 2 altars. The third one comes now online at the bot lane. And take a good look at how Zelia is playing with the Vikings in the mid and in the top just in a bit now. He's actually the one who's currently trying to get the altar, but it's another 8 seconds. And the problem is that Mena just fell. So with Mane down, Trick has a really decent spot here, and Zelia needs to move away from the altars. He's not going to be able to channel those through. The whole idea for Dignitas was to create space for the Vikings to get these channels.
That was the idea. They also wanted to break down that bell tower to make it hard for Trick Esport to be able to be at a station where they can anchor and have themselves set up. Not getting that bell tower hurts both in points and also the kill for Mane. So Jaina now spawning. She's on her way down to the bottom right. Moonfire continues to delay this altar phase, as Trick Esport is having a very difficult time landing either of the two that are available.
In the meantime, the top lane is still getting pressured. Now we have down to the bot lane also a bit more pressure happening. The whole idea for Dignitas was simply to delay the channel so that there's a chance for Mane to come back, and that happens. And Nubarak falling now. And Dig, with them delaying for so long the channel attempts of Trick Esports, is able to take this bell tower. So they have a 1-for-1 trade.
They get it too, and now they're going to have 5 shots here. Which be on the drop, and they actually missed out, so the other altar cannot be picked up.
And now that we're talking about the Vikings a little bit more. Oh, even in the mid lane they can get another one. Wow.
They couldn't grab it. The constant harassment from Zelia, as well as Malfurion with the Moonfires, prevented it from occurring.
Yeah, that's my mistake. I actually thought that once Eric actually fell in the middle, and I thought that Varian channeled it through. So my mistake here. Both are taken. It's a huge blow to Trick. But I wanted to make another point. If you've been watching the minimap, he just died, Balog at the top lane. But if you've been watching the minimap and paid attention to the Vikings, you saw that Balog was the one that got moved to the top. The reason why Zelia did that with the Vikings, why he used Balog up at the top lane and not Olaf or Eric, was because Balog by itself is the one that has the most clear on the waves. So with all of those shrines, with the altars spawning at the bottom of the map, he knew that there was no pressure against him up at the top. So he put the one Viking with the most wave clear to the top lane so they can get massive value out of that. And he used this the fastest, especially with Eric the Swift as level 4 talent, to simply try and interrupt channels in the middle. So very smart thinking about that. And if you are playing the Vikings, always think about which Viking you want on which lane and why.
Yep, they all have different attributes. Eric is fast, single target DPS. You have Olaf, who's very good at sustaining, and then Balog, which is great at pushing in. So make sure to put them where they can be very efficient. Now let's go ahead and talk about the game. We are at 11-11, 36-19. We just had Malfurion get picked up in the bottom left, and Dignitas grabbed their mercenary camps. Trick Esport is taking the chance of going for an engage. Sanctification being used by JPL.
Cocoon also being used, but no kill for Trick. Mane is able to move out here. Sanctification was out, and all of a sudden, Dig is on the back foot. Trick is pushing in even heavier. They didn't get the kill they wanted, but they went through the wall. To the top lane, we have Olaf bribing a camp, while we already see Balog working on the bell tower. So Trick is losing ground there, and they might lose Crosby down here too. The Ring of Frost misses Greymane, but at least he locks Baron down.
He hits 2 tanks. Taunt is available. Watch a Variant here. He would love to get Bakery or Mana here in the taunt if there was kill potential, but nothing is available. He is going to get picked off here on the bottom right side. Finally, Eternal does fall, and the good news for Dignitas fans, we have the Vikings grab Mercs in the top and put more pressure on that fort, which is what makes Abathur come up. But there are 2 altars spawning at the top left and the top right, and Dig is primed to grab them both.
Yeah, Zelia might not have the chance to channel it through the left one though. He already channels the one to the right thanks to Balog. He has the pressure at the top lane, as you said. There's 4 shots fired, but now the big fight happening over the one to the top left. And that is a moment where Varian comes back into the game, so there's an opportunity for Trick to take a fight. And the one thing you always have to keep in mind, if the Vikings don't use their heroic ability, you are essentially fighting a 4 versus 5 up to the point where they make the decision to join fights. And oftentimes it happens more so later in the game when they get more value also of the stunts. So this time Dignitas realizes that, they back off, and they let Trick channel one through. Since they're so far ahead, they are saying, guys, we are currently doing really well here. Let's not risk anything. Let's play the safe.
And instead, they get 13. They grab Mercenaries, push to the left side. Greymane's on the top, so this should be free for Dignitas. And they're going to have a total of 6 of these sappers pushing in. If Eternal cannot deter them away from the area, he will not be able to do so.
Greymane also taking the camp to the top lane, because the theme so far for Dignitas was to bribe the top camp whenever there's a fight at the bottom. Greymane taking the camp at the top lane, first of all, takes a bit of the pressure away that the Vikings put onto the top lane, and it also denies a camp to be bribed later. So that's really important for Trick to make these small plays so that they don't lose another bell tower. A great wave also here down to the bot lane, now netted in experience. Both of the teams on level 13. And of course, slowly and steadily, we're seeing Trick getting stronger and stronger with these abilities that they have, especially since Abathar is starting to add so much more to this composition.
Yeah, Trick Esport walks away from that trade as they kill off all 6 of the Impalers and also going for a fight. They dive in. Yeah, the cleanse come out instantly here from Bakery. The Cocoon is going to be used. Ring of Frost also being brought out. Uther gets locked down, but not before Jaina burns off in the top right. Crosby getting low. Can Snitch go in? Snitch does get the kill. Eternal also being focused.
The Vikings in the back line going straight in with a play again and then aim for Greymane, who had the Divine Shield, but once that was over, they went in, went for the spin to win, and then right away, Snitch saw the opportunity to chase Greymane down. A good kill, a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Team Dignitas. Altar spawning once again, but so far Dig isn't done just yet. They're looking for a potential third kill, but the problem is that we see Snitch taken out. Tracer is dead. Great kill by Trick. They're falling behind in experience, Trixler.
Yeah, they are. Juggernaut being picked up, helping out with that engage there as Eternal went in, got the taunt, and Tracer being burned out is going to put Dignitas in a spot where they're fighting effectively a 5v3.
It's one of the great things about Varian against the Tracer, against the Zeratul or a Genji, that you can make these snap decisions where you charge in, you get the taunt, and if your team follows up, that's when you can net that kill. So they're very good dealing with those hyper-mobile carries.
I mean, think about it. That was just in a Nubrak, a Variant, and 1 tower shot, and that was enough to kill a Tracer in the blink of an eye. As a Tracer player, you have to be careful around those scenarios.
Talking about killing things, the bell tower at the top lane was destroyed, so that is another dangerous situation for Trick, since they need to reclaim that. In terms of core shots, we have 28 to 15 core points in favor of Team Dignitas, who is also very close to get level 16 now.
Thurno comes up on Olaf. Olaf hoping to dance, but he cannot get away. He gets picked off. But Dignitas is keeping up with their theme of constantly clearing out these mercs now. Pretty Sports did steal away the mercs on the right side. They cleared that out, but now we have 3 sappers pushing the bottom lane while Greymane's working on the top. This is the pressure of the Vikings really starting to come into fruition. The top bell tower has brought resources from Trick Esport over to the top left side, which allows Dignitas to start rotating as a 4-man unit and take the map.
I like, on the other hand, what we saw from Trick going to the top to take both bell towers. They didn't take the camp because they needed to rotate bot, but they are also in the know that there is a good chance Dignitas will rotate towards the boss. So they're starting to move in there. They might be a bit too late. Keep in mind, Sanctification is off cooldown.
Holy Ground is here, though. We're going to see Eternal stay on the side and just barely tiptoes the line. JPL gets focused down. Rimmer's going on the back right to burn down Snitch. That is the Ultimate Evolution clone, so no big deal. Dignitas is going to keep moving to the back tail, or the top right bell tower and try and burn it down, but at the same time, a Nubrak is working on the bottom left.
It was a really interesting dynamic that we saw. So what we have Trick do is they realize their own bell tower to the bot lane is low. They move to the top, take both bell towers, the one of the opponent and their own. In the meantime, Dignitas takes the bot lane, and now they're trading again, or at least trying to. But this is the 5th altar phase, and the 1st and the 5th altar phase always spawn 3 altars. And Tyrell is down for another 5 seconds. So he's going to join the fight a bit late, but the Vikings have that global pressure now, and let's see how many of these bell towers Dignitas is going to be able to get, especially since the Nubrak hasn't taken the bell tower at the bot lane yet. So it's 5 shots each bell tower that Dignitas is able to channel through.
And Nubrak is being delayed by Olaf. We're going to have the top left grab here. Trick Esports does get it. Dignitas gets the top right. Now it all comes down to the bottom one. And Nubrak makes a decision to retreat away. So Olaf will be able to grab those later. We're going to see the engagement in the top right. Divine Shield is going to be used. Eternal does live. Here's Oxaproji on the right side. They're looking at Bakery, but Bakery in a good spot will survive.
No channel yet to the top left. They haven't taken it yet. That's another potential 5 shots for Dignitas. And they have most of their heroics. Divine Shield is on cooldown. So that's a bit of a problem. Abathar could have maybe snuck in there, but he didn't. And here comes the Ring of Frost on the ground immediately. Also, the silence has been used. Malfurion with the older Greymane is the first one to fall. As we're seeing again, Alex jumping into the backline, trying to go for Mena, and Jay now is going to fall here. Snitch is low. They can't lock him down, though. Rema is trying, but the Abathar copy is already down as we once again see Bakery in a bit of trouble. Alex is going deep with a symbiote Iceblock used by Malf, and he is finally going to fall here.
There he goes. He falls down. Snitch is going to get away, and we're going to have Trick Esport win the team fight, but lose out on the altars. Yes. They're down to 1 solo shot.
One more shot, and you are totally right. They win the fight, but they lose the objective, and that was an important one. 5 shots were fired against Trick. They're down to 1 point on the core. against the 25 that we have for Team Dignitas. 18 versus 18 the levels, and Tricked is in so much trouble now.
They are in a lot of trouble, and they're doing what they can here just to open up the map. They need to get bell towers under their control. They need to make sure that Dignitas isn't in a spot where they are anchored down and can really just pressure them into a scenario where they have to lose the game. You're going to see them work on bell towers, try to keep Mercantile under control, and also not allow the Vikings to get bribe stacks that can push into their core. It's a tall task.
Yeah, it definitely is. And right now, Tricked is attempting to gain momentum. They're protecting the bell tower in the mid lane. They reclaimed one at the bot lane thanks to an Ubrak, and now they are putting on the pressure with Abathur onto the bottom lane too. The Vikings are still there, trying to make sure that they can hold on to that bell tower. But for Tricked, it's all about momentum. Win these team fights. You need to snowball. And it is such a tall order considering how many bell towers they need to channel for Dignitas to lose this game.
25-1 is the score right now. One little sapper making its way could spell doom here for Tricked Esport. Bribe available for a Viking. He has yet to grab it. He's waiting for everyone to show up on the bottom altar that has spawned. One single altar for the taking.
I'm really liking how Zelia is currently playing this game here. And keep in mind that now that 20 is in, we also have the Vikings with the checkpoint Charlie here. So they have a lot of pressure in these games available to them. Rema with a copy. Sank on the ground. Already used a bit early by JPL here. Cocoon in the backline. The fight is happening. Vikings not joining the battle just yet. JPL is trying to go for Crosby here. Zelia with the attempt to channel the bottom altar. Not successful yet though.
Still a Ring of Frost being available. Jaina can go in and make the play happen. Also a Pulse Bomb as well. Alex Aproji trying to get on top of Zelia here. He does kill Eric. Eric is no longer here, but do remember, play again is available. A taunt comes out on Bakery. He is retreating, but he's at half health. A Nubrak's diving in. Alex Aproji looking for a fight. Here comes the Ring of Frost. It connects with nobody. Crosby charges in and he gets a kill.
Jaina is down. Jaina down, and all of a sudden we have a huge retreat for Dignitas. Two of their heroes are down. One of them only a Viking granted, but still, this is spelling trouble for the team in red. Dignitas had the momentum going into this, but at this point, they are starting to fall farther and farther behind. Bot lane is reclaimed by them, but in the middle, they're losing the bell tower. To the top lane, the bribe has come in as Zelia bribes the camp, tries to push Abathur back here. So much happening in this game right now, and this is, especially with Mena missing that Ring of Frost, this is getting ugly.
And guess what spawns in 7 seconds, Caldor? The Boss-a-Roni will be available. And for now, Tricked Esport has rotated the bottom right and the left side. They're going to grab the mercenary camps so those can't be grabbed and also get bell tower control.
In an ideal world, Trick takes the boss right away. They
Yes.
know that Sank is not ready. And they know Jaina isn't ready yet. If they can burst it, if they can burn it, then maybe they can take it fast enough, because it is a constant threat against Tricked Esports. But they are too late already. They need to abandon the idea of getting it. We have Greyman at the bot lane, working on the bell tower, up to the top lane in Ubrak. There's positions taken on every single lane for Tricked, as they are still holding tight on that one hope that they still have to turn this game around.
They get the bell tower on the bottom right with Greymane. Greymane, one of the best here to actually go off in the off lane. Typically, you don't leave your assassin out, but Tracer and a Greymane 1v1 here in the late game, Greymane can actually win that fight due to go for the throat, so they don't mind peeling him off. The altar spawns at the very south, and Tricked Esport is under pressure now to make a play on the boss.
This is not looking good, not at all. The only thing that Dignitas has to do is stall the fight at the top and channel the bottom with the Viking. And they're putting the Viking in position already. Tricked cannot do this. Abathur needs to go to the bot lane and slug it out with the Vikings, or they're going to lose this one.
Big burrow charge though. Ring of Frost coming out. Alex Aproji diving in, but he gets silenced. Here comes the Divine Shield.
Great play. Abathur on his way to the bot lane. 3 more seconds. He needs to slug it out with the Vikings here. Jaina is down. That's good. Tyrell is also falling at the bot lane. Slabathur is trying to slab it in. He
saves it.
He doesn't get it.
No, he
doesn't get it.
No, the altar goes off and Dignitas will get the win. Oh no, Abathur couldn't do it.
Oh, Abathur, why are you letting me down? You had one job.
He had to wind back with the hand to deliver the slap, and that slight wind back prevented him from getting the delay.
Yeah.
Olaf able to get the altar.
That backhand move was just too much. If he goes straight in, he has it.
If you just would have just gone for a little jab, you know?
Punch. I
You don't need a haymaker. You need a jab in that scenario. Crazy game there, because imagine if Abathur does delay that. A Nubrak was on his way to the bottom lane. He could burrow charge in. Ultimate Evolution could be used, maybe even to save Abathur, and that could have been an altar.
2 heroes were dead.
Yeah.
Jaina and Tyrell were both down. It's just the pest control didn't really work out in this game. The Vikings too strong. Zelia just doing his thing. And I have to say, Azalea did this really well. His Viking control was absolutely on point. He lost very few of them in this game, so that was a pretty impressive performance.
Is there any hero that Azalea can't play? That is the question. Let's